The Rosenthal family actually purchased this here in the audience. Dave and I moved here about 22 years ago. We've raised here in the Middletown area, and I've served in a number of on the school site council. I've served as your District 1 planning action for the Lake County Farm Bureau. I am currently serving on the Napa Lake Workforce Investment Board as appointed by the Board of Supervisors. I'm also a director with the Middletown Area Merchants Association, and I work with a number of other organizations like implementing best interest of the community. And
right, and we will. The Board of Supervisors often dealing and the budget of hundreds. Please describe budgets.
Oh, thank you. As a maintain a staffing and patrol to 31 deputies that I manage on a nightly basis, emergency response, and basically hire if they don't meet the standards of our department. And the role of supervisor today, I feel that I'll be effective in that role. Budget, I volunteer in my off time to represent POR Act that affects 66,000 in financials committees as well. So that takes up a considerable amount of my time, specifically Lake County Sheriff's Office and the folks that are work scale. Thank you.
Field, please describe what experience you have.
As the executive director, ability not only to hire people but to evaluate them. As the code enforcement officer, in addition to having served on the Lake County Board of Supervisors for 8.
Mrs. Rose's experience you have.
My years of experience in working, I did actually before coming to Lake Department. As I think I stated my open of boards and committees. Also, again, managing and then I've also served as the executive director there, as well as our own personal business. Please
describe
managing people. That is a tough one. We have over 300 for the Middletown Rancheria. We as a tribe need to make sure that our budgets are done and completed, balance them, and that we're able to answer to our constituents on where every dollar is spent. Employees, I've done it a 638 contract, EPA Act. We have travel transportation program and grants experience, and also managing the directors of those. I also manage, most of you have been in, and those are all it's on a yearly basis. It is not easy. 1 minute.
All right, thank you. So this one's going to be skill, area of knowledge, or area of expertise do you possess on the Board of Supervisors?
Participated community members on board, and having lived here 41 years, different Elks, all of our community, and yes.
What particular skills or area of knowledge unique for District 1 Supervisor?
I think one of my unique abilities is bringing different entities together at the same table, like common ground, and move forward to find practical and in a timely fashion. Traits. Thank you.
Mr. Sign Knowledge, do you believe uniquely qualifies you to run for?
I think what qualifies me is 20 years of, we're elected every 2 years. Our constituents vote just like you guys do for the elect 20 years. I think some of you guys have seen it basically bigger scale, and I would love the opportunity to make sure every skill that I've had, whether it's thinking outside of the box to fix members of our community together to help, and I'm able to put them to work. At all individuals, how you approach them, you know, what you would like them to do. So thank you.
Ryan, what particular skill or area of knowledge do you think uniquely qualifies you?
Thank you for the question. Department, my career path, like I stated, 20 in associations and union leadership. Bringing our community to get everybody talking, get the information on the table so we don't get our heels dug in and come to dispute. Bring everybody together. So my tenure and my volunteer capacity, and I've worked with Cal to fund before for organized crime that's served here in Lake County. I helped out the office up here, County, and I've served this county without a little bit of my background there. But I brought those skills and leadership qualifiers. That's my full intent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, candidates. So the next question, as most of us know, project here on the Dollar General.
With regard to the Dollar General store group, we met and we reviewed, we looked at Chapter 7 of the Middletown Area Plan and looked at the on the Dollar General store for that construction. However, we also, I think we need to uphold and insist upon with the area. So we have in this town, and we shouldn't to see them not on Main Street. But again, it is zoned as such, and so we do have people here of Middletown. Thank you.
What is your position on the Dollar General Store project?
I don't want it to sound exactly the same, but especially in the rebuild process. So be followed. If there's an opportunity for a business, I think we need to sit down and talk with them as business developers and understand what is, as long as they meet the general that's put together, I think the conversation, if something can be done to help with any type of economic, cannot be here on what to get through the process and get back on our horse.
Mr.
Well, my position is community input. I understand there's a planning review commission meeting, their opinion to the planning, and 2 or 3 times previously to try and comply in our area here. However, if Section 7 isn't compliant with the characteristics fitting the town model, to be adjusted with them, and if they can correct it, then I think we need to promote businesses coming into our area, or they do have to comply with our local regulations.
Ms. Brumfield, what is your position on the Dollar?
This community and Lake County needs economic development. If a project fulfills forward, then it needs to be approved. However, with the adjustment in conformance with everything else in the community.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Simon. What steps should the county take to aid reconstruction in the areas damaged by the fire 15?
First of all, direction. They've done a good job I personally, process of rebuilding. So I do see the process starting out right direction. I think communication with the individuals as people are coming in looking for permits, maybe in one place before they should. I know that the county and even myself at the Capitol on March 3rd in talking about what we're going to be doing in the future there to help that move forward and get cleaned up. Already in motion. I think that we'll find the dollars we need.
Action of the county.
For the question. First of all, we're certainly in a healing process. There's great many stories out there. Rebuilding, what the county can do is establish what I mentioned earlier, effective processes, easy to them to understand. I think the website has been a great help. I know a lot of folks are trying to rebuild. They're relying on the construction supplies to get delivered in time. We can be responsive to their needs and concerns and make sure they get.
Thank you. Field. What steps should
The steps have already begun with the new building permitting system, but we can look at speed things up. And he said when they had what they did, contracted out the plan checks. Right now, I believe we have 1 plan check in the entire county. So
Okay. What should the county do to aid in the reconstruction?
Given the magnitude, of course, we had the Rocky Fire and the Jerusalem Fire before this. Awesome job process so far. At this point in time, it is so that they to have when and what needs to be filled out, who they need to talk to. It's a long process. I think that's. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. Apologize for the loud fire buzzing the rest of the. Anyways, now we are going to switch to submitted, and then Tyler is going to call up a couple people who want to come to ask a question on the other side of the district, and that is going to Mr. Ryan. Wake and crime in the Lower Lake area to manage.
Thank you. That's a great clip with Sheriff Martin regarding neighborhood watch program. People to be the eyes and ears of law enforcement. Bringing people, of course, that you may ties everybody back. In the and briefings, I was elected Board of Supervisors to make sure that our deputies here in county are reaching out and attending those neighborhood watch meetings so they know who the leaders are in their communities, and they're getting the correct information and keeping the folks safe. And obviously the response times are extreme right now, and that goes back to my other issue I plan on having some ideas with as far as recruitment and retention for law enforcement. So I think that's a huge problem, and I intend on addressing.
How do you Lake area?
and crime is happening at the neighborhood watch. Political element reinvigorated its neighborhood watch program, adding theirs. Those community important, but ways to fill is going to be an important part of that.
How do you
This is a question of law enforcement, and he answered the question very adequately. And part of that is again, that we need to do, as Boris said, I feel this is redundant. I mean, I agree with them. We need to work and keep sheriffs here, keep those positions filled so they're with crime. So, and on that, and how can we that crime, what kind of crime we're dealing with here? But
It goes right back to budgeting issues. I think that is a big part of that. Now, I think that there are, some cuts some other places, maybe cuts to my wages if I'm a supervisor, but those are some of the sacrifices I think need to be done in the county and things that need to be looked at. Now, I know that in talking with Sheriff Martin, he has a couple of different ideas about retaining some of our local folks, whether it's a young man coming up with scholarships or a business would